I have fallen further than I had before. But now I'm crawling, and I don't have the strength to get up off that floor. I'm giving into it, I'm living in it, embracing all the pain. Can't run from it, I can't numb it, I won't medicate. I'm still learning and growing. I am not who I was before. I'm done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky scars. I thank my lucky scars. If I feel it, if I feel the pain, then I am still alive. And if I'm living, wanna give it all, not simply survive. I'm leaning into it, I'm breathing in it, inhaling all that hurt. 'Cause walking away, it'd all be in vain, and that would hurt much worse. I am not who I was before. I am done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky stars. I thank my lucky stars. Oh, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm still learning and growing. I've fallen out so much, but hell, I showed up. I'm much better off knowing I'm not who I was before. I'm done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky stars. I thank my lucky stars. I thank my lucky stars. I have fallen further than I had before. But now I'm crawling, and I don't have the strength to get up off that floor. I'm giving into it, I'm living in it, embracing all the pain. Can't run from it, I can't numb it, I won't medicate. I'm still learning and growing. I am not who I was before. I'm done hiding from all my failures.
All right, all right, all right, all right. We are live on the live today and we are happy to be here. I believe that we are going to get a lot from today's show because it's a jammed packed show and an all important show. So let's give it up onto ourselves for making it here today on the live. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. There is a lot of information to share and to learn today. And those of you and I included who want to break through in this life, not just in one area, but in all aspects of life, this is one thing that we can do. We can learn a lot. Last week on the live, my wife said something. She said that not knowing can cost you a lot. And therefore, we want to make sure that we know stuff that can help you overcome poverty, or if you're not poor, at least to make you break through at some point in your life, and including all the other areas. So, as we do on this show, we're going to talk about how to break through. And today, our topic is very important. Say, how to overcome poverty, or how to basically eliminate debt using the debt consolidation method and focusing a little bit on HELAC. Now, if you may not know what HELAC is, if you click on the thumbnail, we're going to delve deeper and know what it all stands for. But before we go ahead, as we always do, we want to hit on our health tip for the week. So we are heading on. This is the second month and about halfway through the month. Valentine's Day is gone, which basically shows that the month of February is about to end. So if you haven't exercised since the year began, you are owing not just yourself, you owe this channel because we want you to be exercising, right? That's important. But more importantly, this week we want to focus on one very important thing, which is not just exercising, but adding onto it the three themes we have begun with: intermittent fasting. We said last time that intermittent fasting has been known and proven to uh, give you long life. So people who commit to intermittent fasting prolong their lives just by fasting. Not fasting for anything's sake. Not just fasting. We know if you're a believer, you probably fast for stuff, for breakthroughs and stuff. But having intermittent fasting is another kind of fast that will help you improve your health. And on this one that we actually want to emphasize, to prolong your life. Also, intermittent fasting is known to help you and protect you from getting diabetic. If you are on the borderline, if you include intermittent fasting, you are probably going to reverse the incidence of diabetes. So if the doctor told you at some point that you are pre-diabetic, your first thing is to hit on doing intermittent fasting, basically denying yourself some hours of the day or some hours within the 24-hour period in a day of food and drink, and that basically will help you reverse the incidence of diabetes. And even if you have diabetes, as long as it's not so advanced, you can incorporate intermittent fasting, and that's going to help you be able to manage your blood sugars well. So intermittent fasting, again, we are heading back on that. We want you, if you are watching us today, make sure if you didn't do it last week, you do it. You can fast from maybe 4 p.m. in the day all the way to about 12 noon the following day. You don't eat between those times, between those hours. And that is basically intermittent fasting. And then when you resume eating from 12, you just make sure you eat healthy food. You don't just binge on everything you missed while you were fasting. And if you consistently do this, I promise you, in fact, it's not a promise, that's how our bodies work. Your body is going to basically become healthier. You can control your blood sugars better. Your blood pressure is going to be better, and all the other good stuff. All right, so that is our health tip for the week. And with that, we're going to hit on to what we have come for in this show. This show today, as we alluded to, is how to consolidate your debt, how to eliminate debt, through debt consolidation. And there's another method called the Avalanche method. Last week on our show, we talked about how to eliminate your debt using the debt roll-up method, which other people also call the snowball method. And incidentally, that's not the only way. There's another way called the Avalanche method, and there's another way called the debt consolidation method. And my guest today is going to help us interpret and understand how those other methods work so that we can definitely overcome poverty. And those of us who are drowning in debt, I promise you, if you stick to us, stick to this show, watch last week's and watch this week's show, no matter how big your debt is, you are going to begin to make a dent in it. And not just a dent, but if you consistently go ahead and follow the methods we talk about, you're going to become debt free. And then when you do become debt free, make sure you let us know so that we celebrate it together. My goodness, I can't wait to hear from you after this show that you have become debt free. So, yes, let's go on. My guest today is proficient in finances, and he is also, I'm going to let him talk about himself a little bit, but just so you know, he before we started doing this, he already started training me on financial things, and it will surprise you how much this man knows. He's an engineer by profession, and yet he has also branched into other areas, including real estate and other good stuff. So let me introduce Mr. Jeremiah Ochrinyako and have you tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Oteng. As Dr. Oteng said, my name is Jeremiah Otrenyaku. Um, I'm a civil engineer by profession. I'm into real estate. I'm a real estate agent in the Massachusetts area. I work with Century 21 Excel Realty, and I'm really a person who is into financing, budgeting, and debt elimination. It's something that I really like and something that I really like to encourage people to do. So I'm not going to say I'm an expert in it, but I'm knowledgeable in finance and especially managing your money and financial management, how to eliminate debt and doing it the right way and quickly.
All right. We want to welcome you to the show. This is your second appearance on the Life and Health show, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be your last because you and I, we are linked some way. So you are going to be here another time. Your wife is also on the way coming, right? To let her know. I hope she's watching. All right. All right. So let's move on straight up. Last week, I'm pretty sure you saw our last week's show. We talked about debt elimination using the debt roll up. And then I found out there's another way called the debt avalanche, using the avalanche method. Can you tell us what that actually entails? What is the avalanche method or avalanche method? I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right.
Yeah, so the avalanche method is one of the debt elimination strategies that you can use to eliminate your debt. I mean, when it comes to debt elimination, it depends on your comfort level and the strategy that you think will work for you. With the avalanche method, it simply means that lessening your debt from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate and focusing on paying it with that steps. So if you have a list of debt, you just have to list it based on the highest interest rate, focus on the highest, and keep paying it off till you get to the lowest interest rate. As compared to the snowball effect or the snowball method, with the snowball method, you list your debt from the lowest debt to the highest debt. So you start paying your lowest debt first. So with the snowball method, it helps you psychologically because it takes a shorter time to pay your lowest debt and you see successes. You see early successes. So that one also motivates you or gives you momentum to be able to continue with your debt elimination process. So the avalanche method, the thing about the avalanche method is that if you use the avalanche method, because you are paying the ones with the highest interest rate first, you save on interest overall. So that's the main difference between the avalanche and the snowball method. With the snowball method, you're going to pay off your debt, but you are not going to save on interest over the over the term of paying off all your debt. So that's the main difference. And also
I
with
see.
the avalanche method, it might take a long time to pay it off because most of your highest interest debt or most of your highest interest debt, it takes a long time to pay it off. So you might not see successes as compared to the snowball method, but at the end of the day, you're going to save more on your interest.
I see. So if I can summarize what you said, in layman's terms, like us, basically the avalanche method, you tackle it from the highest depth, or is it from the highest
The,
depth or the
no, the
highest interest
highest
rate?
interest, the highest
The-
interest rate. So your
okay,
debt with the highest interest rate, that's where you start from, and you keep
it,
paying it down.
whether it is the highest
So
or the
let's say
smallest, you just go by the one with the highest
interest
interest rate.
rate.
Okay.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Now
Yeah,
the one we did last week, which is the snow, I think that's the snowball or the roll up method. That one you tackle it from the lowest amount. And that is where you are saying
yeah,
that
your
psychologically.
lowest debt.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
yeah,
So that you are saying that with the two, the difference is that you basically feel good if you finish paying off the lowest amount, so that it gives you
exactly.
some psychological
So it
benefit
has a
because
psychological effect.
okay,
You get more. You're excited that you paid off debt, and you get more energy to continue with the process. So with the
wow,
avalanche method, it's meant for people that are a little bit good with money management, managing their money well. So
hmm,
they don't care about the emotional aspect of it. At the end of the day, they want to save money. They want to save on interest. So that's their goal.
I see. Wow, 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 wow. That is good. That is good. But the good thing is whether you go with the avalanche method or the roll up or the snowball method, you are hitting the depth. So I think that you just have
Yeah,
to, like he said, analyze your comfort level and see which one.
exactly.
If you don't want to deal with interest overall, you want to hit the one with the highest interest first. That's up to you. But the key is you just hitting the debt. And I'm pretty sure in the avalanche method, you are also forbidden from using the credit card, right? Or using any taking other loans. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair to say if you want to eliminate debt, there's no need for you to get more into debt. So it
Definitely.
defeats the purpose. If you want to eliminate debt, why are you going back into debt again? It defeats the purpose. So no matter what you're doing, any kind of method that or strategy that you want to use, you don't want to go back and accumulate more debt. You want to stay away of accumulating more debt because that's your goal. Your goal is to be debt free. So if your goal is to be debt free, there's no need for you to go and get a new credit card or go get a new loan. You know, unless, like you said, we'll talk about consolidation later. Unless you're doing consolidation, then you can maybe get a new loan. But you also have to look at what works for you and what the advantages are if it's a good way to do it. So you have to analyze it, run your numbers, and see which one works for you better.
All right, all right, all right. All right. So my next question then is how can someone determine if debt consolidation is a good option for them? And if so, how does debt consolidation work? And then we will just transition into debt consolidation and come back to the other stuff. Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to debt consolidation, first of all, you have to
Actually,
look at
let,
the input.
I think we should actually start. What is debt consolidation? Because somebody may not even understand what debt consolidation. What is actually debt consolidation?
So debt consolidation simply means putting all your debt into one big loan and having one monthly payment.
Okay.
So let's say you have student loans, you have credit card loans, you have car loans. You want to put all together to make it one loan. Usually, when you are doing debt consolidation, people use it when it comes to student loan because with student loan you might have different types of student loans, right? You might have subsidized student loan, you might have unsubsidized student loan, right? So you want to put them together so that you can have one loan and one monthly payment. So debt consolidation simply means combining all your loans into one payment, one big loan, so that you can have just one payment. And it simplifies everything for you. If you don't want to be paying maybe five different loans in a month, you want to put all of them together, um, you can do debt consolidation. And some people do it, especially if you have student loans, which has higher interest rate. You want to consolidate your debt. So I had a friend who had subsidized student loans. They had unsubsidized one and also had private student loans.
Hmm.
So with the, you know that with the subsidized student loans, um, You have to, it's subsidized. So when you're in school, you don't pay interest on the loan unless you get out of school. And I think when I was in college, it was like 6 months after school. That's when you start paying interest on it. But if you have a lot of private student loans, and most private student loans have higher interest rates, so if you can consolidate them into a lower interest rate, um, that would be a better option for you, because at the end of the day, first of all, you're getting a lower interest rate. Um, it might reduce your monthly payment because of the lower interest rate, and also at the end of the loan, you're going to pay less on interest. So, um, debt consolidation could be an option for you. Debt consolidation could be an option for you.
All right. So, with that being said, then how should somebody uh, decide if you want to use avalanche method, or say the debt roll up, which is also the snowball method? Between that and debt consolidation, how would one make that decision? You know, how do you make that decision? Do you have like any particular reason why somebody should go for, a consolidation, or they should just do the roll up?
So, it depends on, first of all, it depends on your comfort level,
Hmm.
which one you are comfortable with, because there's no right way of eliminating debt. It depends on your comfort level and what your goal is and what you want to achieve. If you just want to pay off debt, you know, and you want to see early successes, which will motivate you to continue with the process of eliminating your debt, then you can go with the snowball method or the roll up method, as you said. If your goal is to reduce the amount of interest that you're going to pay over the term of the loan, then now you can think about the avalanche method, paying your debt which has the highest interest rate, because the higher the interest rate, the more interest you are paying for the particular loan. So so if you want to pay less over the term of the loan, then you want to go with the avalanche method. When it comes to debt consolidation, you want to look at the interest that you are going to get for the debt consolidation, the new loan that you're going to get when you consolidate your loans. So let's say you have student loan, you have private, especially the private student loans, you might get from 8% to 9%, right? Interest rate on private student loans. So you might have like three private student loans. So if you can consolidate them to a new loan at 5% interest rate, then that would be a good option for you. You don't need to use the snowball method for that, because if you use the snowball method, fine, you're going to pay it off quickly. No, you're not going to pay it off quickly. You're going to pay it off whenever you pay it off, but you're not going to save on interest, you know. So you are better off consolidating that loan, get a lower interest bearing loan, and pay it off that way. So when I'm talking to my clients when it comes to debt elimination, and especially with student loan debt, that's what I tell them to do. Try and consolidate it if you can get, because right now if you want to consolidate your student loan to a cheaper interest rate, you can get it. You can get it at 5%. If you have 8% student loan, 9%, you can get 5% to refinance the loan, and I think that would be a better option. And so it all depends on your situation. You might be able to do the avalanche method in addition to debt consolidation, right?
Hmm.
Because yeah, you can do both. It's not just doing one, because let's say you have a mortgage. If you have your mortgage at 3%, right? You have your student loans at 7 and 8%. You can consolidate your student loans and get a 5% interest rate, but keep your mortgage at the 2% or the 3% interest rate. Because if you consolidate your mortgage with the student loan, you're going to pay more at the end of the day. It doesn't help you save money and time. So you can consolidate your student loan, the higher student loans, to one loan. If you have different private loans, then you can keep your lower interest loans and keep paying them uh, the way you want to pay it. So it's not just putting everything together and in one bulk and just doing it. You can separate it. You can do avalanche for some of your debt, and you can do debt consolidation for some of your debt. So if you consolidate your debt and you have a 5% interest rate, now you can add it to your avalanche method, or you can add it to your snowball method on your list, right?
Mm.
Because when you're doing the avalanche method or the snowball method, you have to make a list, either a list from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, or your lowest debt to your highest debt. So after you consolidate the student loan, then you can put it in your list, and wherever it lands, you just move along with it.
All right, all right. That is good. That is good. Now, somebody may be asking. I know if you joined us late and you probably don't understand what avalanche method and debt roll up method is. After the show, you can go back or rewind and then watch it. But we're going to proceed. Somebody may ask then. Well, I'm pretty sure the debt consolidation is not only for student loans because some people have huge credit card debts, right? Can you use the
Yes.
the debt consolidation for credit card debts and other forms of loans?
Yes, you can use debt consolidation for credit card debt too, because I know that they have some every year. They have this promotion of 18 months zero APR credit cards. Credit transfer or credit card transfer. So you can consolidate your debt using you can consolidate your credit card debt. So if you have a lot of credit cards and you want to put it into one big credit card with 0% interest for 18 months, you can do that too. A lot of people do that so that they can halt the interest that is accruing on their line, right? For that 18 months, and they can use that period to try and see if they can pay it off. They're unable to pay it off in the 18 months, they can transfer the remaining loan on the line to another 18 months 0% APR line. So people can do that so that they don't have to accrue interest on their principal. Yeah,
All
so
right.
you can do that for credit cards too.
Basically, for all kinds of debt, you can use the debt consolidation. I am a little hesitant
Yes.
when a credit card company send me an offer 18 months or 24 months, or actually they don't do 24 months anymore, like 6 months, 18 months, 12 months for transferring all your debt. If you know that debt is too high that within that period you cannot finish paying, then I think you won't advise them to, because what will happen is at the end of the 18 months the interest rate is going to go up, and you probably lose the gains that you may have saved by transferring it for like 0%, right? Am I right?
Yes. So you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan when you are doing debt consolidation, and when you are transferring your debt from one credit card to another credit card with 0% APR for a period of time. You have to have a plan. Okay, so if I transfer the money to this card with zero APR for 18 months or 12 months, will I be able to pay off all the debt within the 12-month period? That's the
Hmm.
question you have to ask yourself. If you think you will not be able to pay it off within that 12-month period, what's your game plan? Are you going to transfer it to a different credit line which has another 18 months zero APR after 8 months? Or so you have to have a strategy in place so that when you transfer it, you know what your next move is, so that you make sure that whatever you're doing, you are not going back to square one.
All right, all right, all right, all right. And square one is what we don't want to get. Nobody wants to go back to square one. No way, no way. We want to take
Exactly.
out the debt. All right. Now let's move on to the sources of funding for consolidating your debt. You have mentioned using a credit card. There's also a bank loan. Can a bank? I think if you think about it, bank loans are better if you talk to your bank and ask them to help you with a loan that will put all your debt together and have a single monthly payment at a lower rate. That would be better, right? So that's one. Apart from credit card, that is bank loan. Do you agree with
Yes.
me on that?
Yes, at a lower rate, I agree. At a lower rate. It has to be at a lower rate. If it's not at a lower rate, then there's no need for you to do it.
All right. So it has to be at a lower. That's the key, and I like that. That is the key. It
Yes.
has to
It
be
has to
at the
be at a
lower
lower rate.
lower rate. All right. So then the next question is, what other types? I think this is going to lead us into another type of. So basically, we have mentioned transferring your debt or consolidating your debt onto a credit card with a lower rate, like 12 months, 18 months, or whatever, putting them all together and paying it off within that period. And then also, we have also agreed on using the bank loan to put together all your debt, including credit, student loan, whatever, as long as the rate is lower. So that's another source. The third source, I think, is a HELOC. And that one I want you to explain. The HELOC is HELOC. Now, you introduced me to this concept. I want you to tell our audience what is the meaning of HELOC. What does it stand for, and what is the meaning of HELOC? And we'll take it from there.
Okay. So a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. So it's a lien on your home, the equity on your home. So let's say you have a home that the principal balance on your home is, say, let's say 300,000 and $300,000 principal, and it has appreciated, let's say, maybe 500,000. So let's say the equity on your home right now is 200,000, right? Your current principal balance is 300,000. The appreciated value of your house is, say, 500. So the equity in your house is now $200,000. So now you have an equity of $200,000. So you can go to the bank and tell the bank that they should loan you a percentage of that equity that you've accrued over the period, over some time, over the years, uh, whilst your house has appreciated. You can ask the bank to give you a percentage of that equity in your house or in your property. So usually the bank will be able to give you, say, 70% to or more of the equity of your property in the form of a line of credit. So the HELOC usually has, it depends on your bank, but it has a 20-year, from the bank that I use, it has a 20-year interest only payment portion and another 20-year interest and principal payment option. So that's how the HELOC is. So the HELOC is a form of a line of credit, but this line of credit is based on the equity in your home, and you can use it to consolidate your debt. So, in a nutshell, that's what a HELOC is, and it's a revolving. It behaves like a line of credit, so it's a revolving credit. And when we talk about revolving credit, it means that you can always use that uh, money when it's paid off. So it's always there for you. Some people call it, some people use it as a bank for themselves, because if they want money to do something, let's say they need money to renovate their house, or, you know, get a new kitchen or get a new bathroom or a deck, they can take that money, use it for those renovations, pay it back, and take the money again to do something else. But you can also use it to consolidate your debt. You can also use it to consolidate your debt. And the thing about HELOCs is that usually HELOCs have lower interest rates as compared to credit cards. Okay, so if you want to use a HELOC to eliminate debt, HELOC is really a really good option. And the good thing about it is that for the first 20 years, like I said, it's an interest only payment option. So you don't really need to pay down the principal as compared to a loan. For a loan, when you're making a payment, a portion of your monthly payment goes to the principal, paying down the principal, and a portion goes down to the interest. But when it comes to a HELOC, you have an interest only portion or term, which is probably 20 years, and you have another 20 years, which is paying the interest and the principal. So because you just have to pay interest, you might not need to pay a lot to be able to satisfy the loan, because so far as you pay your interest, your principal is not going to increase.
Wow, wow, that is good. Now, I think this method would be, I mean, from my own perspective, this would be the best. The only problem is you have to own a home to be able to access the HELOC, because it's, as you said, it's home equity line of credit. So this is basically something that homeowners are going to take advantage of. And I like the part that you also said that it's a revolving credit. So however much the bank gives you, if you use it, the money is also available for you to use for other things. And I think you told me how people even use this to buy their first real estate investment and stuff like that. Because if you use it to pay
Yes,
off your debt and the money is in there, it's a revolving line of credit. You could
yes,
use it as your down payment for property, investment property, and stuff like that. So that is Really, really huge. Now, for the person who doesn't have a home door, this doesn't seem to be something that you can actually use. And that actually sucks because, I mean, we want to use this as a tool, not only, to benefit the people who have homes, but people who don't have homes. I don't know if you have come across any other product that other people can use as far as equity lines are concerned. If it's not home equity, can you use, if you have a business, can you take a loan against your business as a business equity line, stuff like that? I think there's something like that, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with business lines of credit, but I know
Okay.
that definitely there will be a business line of credit. I don't know how much the interest rates are on those
Uh,
lines. I'm assuming that it's going to be more than the home equity line of credit. So I'm not really familiar with those ones, but they should have lines of credit for businesses. But I'm not sure whether the interest rates are as good as the home equity line of credit. Yeah. And also, if you don't have equity in your house, you can't get the home equity line of credit.
okay. So
Yeah,
you have
you
to
can't
actually
get it.
pay down your mortgage up to some point, or the
Exactly.
value of the property have to
Exactly.
appreciate to some point before you can.
Appreciate. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what are some of the potential drawbacks of the HELOC as an option for debt consolidation?
I personally, I don't think there's any drawback if you're going to use it to consolidate your debt. The thing that you have to understand is that you can't just take your HELOC, use it to pay your credit card, and continue to accrue debt on your credit card. You can't do that. You got to be disciplined with the process. So if you're going to use your HELOC to pay for your credit card, you have to make sure that you are paying the HELOC back. Because remember, the HELOC also comes with interest. And you have to pay it down. You have to pay it off. So if you're not paying it off, um, I don't see the benefit to you. So you have to be very disciplined when it comes to debt consolidation and even debt elimination. It comes with discipline. You have to be disciplined with the process. You have to be consistent with your payment of your debt. That's only when you can benefit from it. So if you're using a HELOC to consolidate your debt, just make sure that first of all, the interest that you are getting on your HELOC is lower than the interest on your current debt. That's the first thing. And also, if you use your HELOC to consolidate your debt, make sure that you are making your monthly interest only payments. And if you can even pay more, you want to do that.
All right, all right, all right. Now I got another question here for you. So, what are some common mistakes or pitfalls that people should avoid when using a HELOC for debt consolidation? What are some of the things that people should avoid? You probably said some of them, but I got to ask it anyway. I think
Okay.
you said that don't
So,
use your credit card again. That is one thing I've kept. Right?
yes.
You use it, don't use
So,
your card
if
again.
you're,
Mhm.
yeah, if you're consolidating your debt, especially with credit card, um, you want to make sure that when you use your HELOC to pay it off, you don't accrue debt on your credit card. Okay, so that's one thing you have to make sure you have to avoid. Avoid using your credit card or leaving a balance on your credit card beyond your due date. Okay, you want to make sure that you don't do that. Even if you are going to use your credit card to buy things, you want to make sure that before the billing cycle ends, there's a zero balance on your credit card. So that's where you want to get to. You want to get to a point that if you want to use your credit card and you don't want to buy things cash or using your debit card, you want to make sure that before the end of the billing cycle, there's a zero balance on your credit card. If there's a zero balance on your credit card before the billing cycle ends, that means you are not paying interest on the credit card. So that's very, very important. And also, you want to make sure that when you use your line the HELOC to consolidate your debt, make sure that you are paying down the HELOC, because remember that the HELOC is also a lien on your house. It's a lien
Mm.
on your house. So if your current principal balance on your property is, say, your appreciated value of your property is like 500, right? You know, and now your current principal balance is like say 300, and you have a HELOC of say 150,000, right? And you've used that 150,000 as debt consolidation. Now the debt that you own with the bank is the 300 plus the 150, which is $450. So you owe the bank $450.
Give me
So you
$450,000,
want to make sure that
right?
you say what?
You said $450,000, right?
Yeah, four hundred and
Okay.
fifty thousand dollars
Thousand, yes,
because
yeah.
now your line of credit is 150 and your principal balance is 300. So you owe 450,000 with the bank. So you want to make
Mhm.
sure that you are paying that. Don't forget the fact that you use the HELOC to consolidate your loan doesn't mean that the loan just vanished in thin air. The loan is
Mm.
still there. It's just that you are moving it into a better situation so that you can pay less on interest. So you always have to think about that and be disciplined about it and just move on with the process and keep paying it down and eventually you're going to pay it off.
All right, all right, all right. Now, my other question is, how does someone go about applying for and obtaining a HELOC, and what documentation or requirements are typically involved?
Okay, so when it comes to applying for the HELOC, you you can do it online. You can apply for a HELOC online. You can go to your bank's website or your bank, any bank website. You can go to the bank website. You apply for the HELOC. What they're going to do is that they're going to send an appraiser to come and appraise your property for you, so that they can determine the equity that is in the property. And based on that, they can decide. You can tell them how much you want
Mm-hmm.
based on the appraisal, right? And the equity that is in your property, and they will
Mm-hmm.
decide whether they want to give you like 80% of the equity or 75% of the property or 90% of the property. So it's a simple application. You can do it online. You can try. Usually, I use credit unions where I bank. So you apply online, and they'll get you somebody to help you out with it. And I think it's a very, very simple process. So far as you have equity in your property, you should be good, and you should be able to get you should be able to get a HELOC. Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Good, good, good to know. I think if you are watching the show, just don't forget to share. I've seen some thumbs up right there. Click the share button and share with other people so that we can all learn and benefit together on our way to becoming financially independent, because you are eliminating your debt. Remember, if you owe somebody, you are literally a slave to that person. And we don't want to be in that situation. We want to be able to control our own destiny by making sure that we don't owe people, no banks for that matter. So this HELOC thing is something that all homeowners who are in debt should definitely consider. I like the fact that he's talking about it being a revolving credit, very low interest rate, and stuff that you could use not only for debt consolidation, but this is our primary goal here, but also you could use that for other things, even updates in your home and stuff like that. But obviously, for us, we want the debt to be gone. All right, let's see if I have any other questions here, and then we will wrap it up. But click the share button if you haven't already shared the stream. Okay, so this is a very important question. What are some of the potential tax implications for using a HELOC? Is that going to increase your tax burden, or is it going to make it a better option for you?
So what I know is that if you use the home equity line of credit, right, the HELOC for renovation in your property, um, then you can deduct the interest on the HELOC. But if you use it for something else which is not related to improving your property, then you cannot deduct it. Again, you want to talk to your um,
Professional, yeah.
tax professional or tax specialist to be able to deal with when it comes to deductions and no non-deductions. So the little I know is that if you use it to improve your property, then you can deduct it from your taxes. But again, you want to talk to your tax professionals and CPAs. Those people know better than I do when it comes to tax deductions with HELOCs.
All right, all right, all right. We are concluding, but before we go, what are some additional strategies and tips that you would recommend for someone who is considering either using a HELOC or any other form of debt consolidation for eliminating their debt? Now, we have exhausted a lot of information on how to eliminate debt, but do you think there's anything that would stand out so much for you that everybody should pay attention to on this show today?
I think we exhausted all the methods that you can use to eliminate your debt. One thing that I would like to say is that I know you've spoken about this before in your previous episodes, um, live videos. You've spoken about budgeting. Um, I think when it comes to debt elimination, the foundation for debt elimination is having a budget and making sure that you stick with your budget. That's the foundation to financial independence. If you can stick with your budget and be disciplined with it, um, I think it will help you tremendously when it comes to debt elimination. Because if you can cut some debt out of your budget, or you can be able to get some extra money from your budget and put it towards debt elimination, I think it will propel the process and to make you debt free earlier than expected. So everything starts from your budget. If you have a good budget and you're able to stick with it, and also you're able to cut down on some expenses, that will free up some money to be able to for you to put it towards your debt elimination. That is one thing that I'll recommend to our viewers to do. Every month, you want to make sure you go over your budget and see ways and means that you can cut down on expenses, and you can roll that money into eliminating your debt. And I think that's something that um, everybody should consider. Doing a review of your budget every month, finding ways to cut down on cost, and using that freed up money to help you with the process of paying off your debt sooner.
Wow, 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 man. That I'm so happy you brought that up as we're about to end. When when you talk about budget, I think it's really true. It's the foundation for almost everybody who breaks off from poverty. You know, even including nations. I remember just
Yes.
using this as an example. I remember in the '90s when President Clinton was, a president, the U.S. economy was top notch, and all they did was to try and balance the budget, the national budget. That's all they did. Just try. Of course, they did other things, but the fact that they stuck to budgets made the whole nation prosperous. And even to today, nations who are suffering, most of them cannot balance their budget. So balancing budget is not just an individual or family phenomenon. It is something that is definitely important for anybody who wants to overcome and break through in life. As you know, as simple as you say it, it takes a lot of guts, especially for the men. You know, we don't have time, right? I don't know, but it took me a while for to come around to do budget with my wife. You know, the money is coming. Why bother? You are paying the bills. Why bother? Money is coming, paying the bills. Bills are going out. Everything is working out. Why do you need to just sit down and put paper, pen to paper? But until we did that, we didn't know how much money we were wasting, or some of the unnecessary things that we can cut. We didn't know about all those. And so doing
Yeah.
budget in itself will be the fair. And I'm happy you brought that up, because even if you want to do debt roll up, you need some money, initial money for the roll up, right? You need to find something from your
Exactly.
budget, some cash flow amount that you can throw at the first initial debt you want to eliminate. If you don't do the budget, you
Yes.
won't know that your cable is costing you $150, but you barely watch TV in the house. You have internet with a high speed and you don't use it for business. You could use a medium speed or a lower speed for the regular browsing that you got, that you do in the house, but you are just throwing money down the drain. So budget, budget, budget. And I think apart from we learning the methods that we can use to eliminate our debt, the first thing we should start with is to learn to budget. Men, we got to be humble, and women, we got to be studious. We don't have to, we don't have to just take it for granted. And I know you are really somebody who goes with budget, and I hope that we can all aspire to that, on the life as we are watching. So we are bringing the show to an end, and we want to also make sure that if you haven't seen our previous show, we talked about eliminating your debt with the debt roll up. Today, we have also touched on using the avalanche method. Also, apart from the debt snowball or debt roll up, these are huge terms. But if you watch the video, if you go back to the channel and you watch it, we break it down to make you understand it. And even this video, if you go back, if you didn't start with us, just go back and start it over and see what it means to use the avalanche method to kill or destroy your debt. And then also, we have also talked about using debt consolidation, and whether you take money from another credit card company who will give you money, at a lower rate to consolidate all your other credit cards and hit them big, so you can eliminate your credit card bills, or you borrow money from the bank, use the money. The banks do this. You can tell them, I want some loan to consolidate my debt. On your application, they will just ask you for how much debt, all your credit cards, they will ask you to list them. And if they qualify you, they'll give you enough money to pay them all off. And then you have one monthly payment with a lower interest rate than the credit card debt. And then our guest also talked about consolidating your student loans to a lower rate loan. If your student loans are in higher rates because you took some private loans here and there, you are not stuck. You can get a loan at a lower rate and put them together and then hit them hard. And then also we have talked about using the HELOC as a method. Those of you who already own your homes, some of you have paid your mortgages to the extent that we have equity. Don't just take the home equity and then use it to build some houses in some countries where you are not even living at. You know what I'm saying? Those of you who are from somewhere, we build mansions back there and then we don't live there and then we are dying in debt over here. Use that money, pay off your debt, live a comfortable life. And then after that, you can begin to think about those mansions, in Jamaica or wherever you come from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but
Yeah.
definitely first things first. Yeah, go ahead.
Some
Wanted
people
to
also
say,
use it to buy, liabilities like cars and boats and things like that. You don't want to use debt to go buy liabilities. If you're going to use it to buy an asset, that's okay. But even that you have to consider. So, like Dr. Otin is saying, just use it to eliminate your debt. Don't use it to buy liabilities.
buy liabilities like cars, right? We didn't
Yeah,
know all this. So
cars, fancy cars,
yeah, fancy
boats,
cars,
motorcycles.
motorcycles, extra cars here and there, luxurious cars, the Beamers and the Mercedes, and you are paying interest, paying interest to the bank. Meanwhile, some of
Yeah,
these people don't even have life insurance. Sadly, if something should happen to
yeah,
them,
yeah,
not only are they losing their income, but they are putting their families at risk. So
exactly.
definitely let's put our priorities right. Let's hit the depths, and then once we are free and independent of all these banks, you can pay for a car. Even if you still want to use a loan, at least you have the money there and you use your credit as a leverage. So that is very good, and I want to say thank you so much for coming on board again. Next week, we are going to
You're
talk
welcome.
about how we can use technology to overcome debt, either through establishing business or any other forms of ways we can use. And particularly we're going to talk about chat gpt. I'm pretty sure I have somebody in mind, and she knows already. I have an audience in mind, and she's in the technology field, and hopefully she will have time on that live next week and tell us how we can use all these AI softwares that are coming out, in particular ChatGPT, either to start a new business or make our work even better, easier, work smarter, and stuff to make income, extra income here and there. So until we see you again next week, I want to say that, beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health,
Prosper
even as your
and in good
soul
health.
prospers.
So
And we'll see
prosperous.
you on, if not before Sunday, definitely by Sunday. God bless you and thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and share the stream. Thank you.